Over the last several years, smartphones have become increasingly popular as time has gone by and as technology has advanced. When you look at smartphones now, you've got two choices between what is iOS, which is Apple software, and what is Android, which is Google software. They're both extremely different, and it's important to know the differences to help you choose which phone to get. So what I'm going to tell you about is the advantages of Android and why you should purchase some kind of device running Android software. Probably the most impactful difference between iOS, Apple software versus Google Android software would be the hardware. So most devices that are Android, well, not most, but all of them, they're made by multiple manufacturers, whereas iOS is made strictly by Apple. So when you have multiple manufacturers, you have multiple different styles of Android and different hardware to compete with each other. And the higher end Android devices typically have better hardware, such as cameras, processors, and expandable memory. Now, those three items I'm going to tell you about are probably the most important if you're looking at hardware specs and trying to choose the right Android phone for you. So Android has been making steps with the manufacturers to increase the battery and also increase the camera software as well. And as the pixels have gotten bigger, the software has also improved to help take advantage of the better camera specs. The expandable storage is probably one of the biggest deciding factors between Apple and Android, and you can only get it on Android, you can't get it on Apple. What that means is that compared to Apple, where you only get a set amount of storage on that device, you don't actually have to have the option to expand that storage with a memory card. So the only other option besides your device memory would be to purchase additional storage through the iCloud. With Android, you have, let's say, 32 gigabytes of memory on that phone. When that runs out, you could have a memory card, which gives you expandable storage up to about 120 gigabytes. So that's a lot of people look for that, and it's mandatory that they have that, and it's just not available on Apple. And it saves you money because purchasing storage through iCloud on Apple's devices can become extremely expensive, especially if you're the type to start saving a lot of pictures or movies. So the last thing regarding hardware with Android devices is they have better processors and they're able to perform more efficiently and allow you to multitask more efficiently as well. So in regards to hardware, you've got better cameras on Android, expandable memory on Android, and you've got better processors for better overall performance. The next topic that I'm going to tell you about is going to be the customization aspect, which is my personal favorite. And I'm going to give you an example on my phone what Apple iOS looks like versus what Android looks like. So in regards to customization, there's a few things that you can do. You have a stock keyboard, and a lot of people prefer to be able to change it because they need a bigger keyboard or they want their own special theme for it. And you can do that with Android. It's very limited on Apple. There's some third-party apps, but nothing like what's available on Android. And you also have what you call widgets, which are basically little icons that show you brief information about the application, or it's like a shortcut. And then you also have third-party launchers, which allows you to change the overall feel of the phone and the way that the icons look as well. So in regards to iPhone software in general and the customization ability, you don't have the option to customize the way your home screen looks on iPhone. So on iPhone, all your icons fill up the pages and you can't move them around however you want to. So basically when this page is filled, you go to the next page and it fills it from there. So this is how it would look with an iPhone, except for different layout, obviously, because it's different software. But with Android, you can actually move them around to where you want them to be, as you can see here. And then secondly, you have the widget option. So instead of having to open Spotify, for example, on my Android, I can have this little widget bar right here where I can actually skip through the songs and play what I want to play. And then I also have a widget for my notes so I can see my grocery list without having to actually open the app. and that is something that's not available on Apple. Last but not least, I'm going to tell you about the consumer impacts that Android benefits consumers by. The first and foremost is going to be cost as far as your data plan goes with your carrier. iPhones use visual voicemail, and that uses data, whereas your Android phone, you just call your voicemail. Also, with Apple, you have to purchase a lot of music. There's not any free app options, where Android you have free app options, and you can download free music. Also, with that, you have a much more wider variety of devices available to choose from. You can get smaller phones, bigger phones, whereas Apple only has a select list of phones. So I've given you a brief rundown of Android and why it's better than Apple, and I highly encourage you to check out the higher end Android phones whenever you become eligible, or if you're shopping for a new phone. You won't be disappointed. Thank you.